4 years ago, I co-founded a company called Typeform. You may have heard of it, you may have not heard of it, but our vision is to make things a little more human. At Typeform, we don't have a typical reception. Instead, we have something we cheekily called a barception. Every day, employees start and end their day with a conversation. And actually, it's been so successful that people often walk in from the street mistakenly thinking it's a real bar.
Our vision is to make things a little more human. And this is part of our identity in terms of how we build a product and how we build a company.
And it's hard to let go of that.
To be more human, a more conversational way.
I think it's very important at Typeform because people are so attached to it. But right now it's just kind of this concept and people use it as they want. And I think it actually confuses things because a lot of times I hear people say, oh, but that's not really being human. But essentially, what does it mean to be more human?
This sentence means a lot to us, but I realize as human is an ambiguous concept. Everyone can have a definition. People should be able to understand what do you stand for.
And so what we did is call Design Studio because we like what they do, and we asked them to help us. The whole point is, hey guys, can you help us figure out who we are?
I'm just going to hug everyone. Yeah, make yourselves at home.
Finally you're here.
Yeah.
You've been working hard.
Right. Hello. I'm James, and I run the studio.
I'm Alex. I'm the design director on the project, so I kind of see it from start to finish.
And our job today is to try to take on board a bunch of the thinking that you guys have actually already done and stress test whether or not that thinking is set up and fit for purpose for everything that this business is going to do for the next few years and hopefully many more beyond. If you saw that on a banner and you're like...
Very few people sit down and say, I'm going to build a company that's got all these fantastic offices, there's all the brain power and the enthusiasm and the culture that's in these walls. People don't rarely sit down and say, this is where the end result is going to be. They just find themselves there.
Yeah.
We help a brand build a really, really coherent, realistic picture of who they are, of themselves, and then we give them the tools to go away and express it.
Some people think, oh, brand, you must be talking about our logo. And, oh, right, yeah, no, we've got a new typeface, we've updated our brand. That is 100% not what we define brand as. For us, brand is the intrinsic core of a really, really good business. And I'm not going to harp on about this brand for ages, but we gave them a line which was belong anywhere. And that's become a really rich, powerful thing that's allowed them to identify the way that they're going to launch new products, talk about their existing products, talk about their community, engage their community. So if we get it right, it's a really, really powerful thing.
The brand proposition of a company is basically some words that clearly express what the company is about. And to me, that's basically the most important thing, like why this company acts this way or creates this product.
For me, the rebrand is like you go into therapy, you spend a certain amount of time talking through who you are. We did this, right? We did this with our brand proposition. We were in there, a load of people in a room just kind of saying, well, who are we? Like, what are we actually trying to achieve?
In the screen world, we do have to think about...
If I take a parallel to just outside work, when you understand yourself better and what makes you tick, then you can understand better what you want to be.
Stop interrogating, start asking. If you feel like that is a manifesto that gives you hope about what this movement could be for Typeform, then move yourselves over here. If you think that people first, data second, then come and stand over here. And finally, if you think that start with hello is the sentiment, the attitude of the movement that you think represents Typeform, come and stand over here. Everyone remember?
We did like 3 iterations on the brand proposition, and the first one I think was go forward.
Why do we get out of bed in the morning and come here? Like, to say we come here to go forward, there's a bit of a disconnection.
Practically, how do I actually go forward? Like, you know.
So this wouldn't be copy. It would be more catchy and like more specific. But I agree that it's super broad. Like it's like what Jason said. No, every startup wants to like help people go forward.
If I take Get Closer as the brand proposition, that feels much closer to what we do.
And it's pretty related with our culture of collaboration, Get Closer. So it would be a good.
So we spend a lot of time trying to figure out how we do things here at Typeform could inform the why.
What do you do with it? How do you understand it? It's about the different efforts.
People coming to in the way that we know. So previously we had go forward and get closer.
Yeah.
And then we talked about go forward being too lofty and everyone really gravitating towards get closer because they understood it and stuff like that. So what we've tried to do is we've taken elements of what made Get Closer into something tangible and real. We've got to this, understand more. When we understand others, we evolve. We make that happen at scale, building tools that understand people and connect them with their community, whenever and whoever they are.
We had this prop for a while, but there was something that felt like not genuine enough for us. I mean, it could be a great brand proposition, trying to understand more like this curiosity as a human being you have like on the world. For us, it was a bit different. It really has to reflect the culture, but it really has to like resonate with people because that's why the product is the way it is.
Yeah. We've worked in lots of different brands, lots of different sizes, and the thing that's really, really powerful for us is when the brand thinking enables decisions to be made in really, really unusual places. So all of those sorts, like the millions and billions of decisions that every business needs to make every single day, when a brand is at its best, it strips away the loops and the wiggle room and the confusion around what the right decision is. Because, and it's not because it's written down in black and white, it's because spiritually we all understand this is what this brand should do.
I remember I was sitting down in the barception and I was talking to Uber, the barceptionist, and I was like, man, I need to figure this out. I have no clue, I'm a bit lost. We have this brand prop, but I feel there's something that is not right. People don't really resonate. And I asked him, like, why do you like Typeform? Like, why do you want to work here and not somewhere else? And he's like, well, because of the people. And why do you think we have this reception, right? Why don't we have just a reception like any other office, right? Why do we have this? And he's like, I don't know, man. Like, people come here and like they build relationships, and I guess that's like valuable for the company. And that's when I thought, you know what? The culture in this company is too important to like not put it inside the brand prop. And that's when we said, okay, maybe the whole thing has to be about people and getting to know other people and establishing these relationships, because that's something that's been there for ages.
To, after, I'd like to say, a very efficient, quick process, this proposition. Well, you know, we went around the houses a little bit. We had a little bit of rejigging and a little bit of retooling, and that's fine. But I feel like we've been on a really good journey to try to get to a place where we have something that hopefully is going to give us not just a strong foundation for this work, but also a rallying cry, something at the core of Typeform that's going to give us clarity about why do we actually do what we do.
right? We're going to change it. Running with this is going to mean, from a product perspective, we're really going to have to step up, because if you look at, these examples of all these words, really understanding people, all of these nuances in people's feedback. Right now, are we actually delivering on that? That's kind of doubtful. So we really need to step up to match the brand that we're putting out there, which is a good thing because it gives us direction.
So that's the other really important thing, is there's loads of stuff in here that maybe might take a little while to come to fruition. We're confident this is elevated beyond Typeform the product, and this is now talking about a much higher purpose.
The question is, can we have a new way of seeing things? I think we can, but in a way that is connected with who we are and how we do things. So when we built Typeform, we weren't thinking about the data that was being collected. We were thinking more about the experience of the respondent. We were thinking more about the people. People first is a great way to summarize the purpose that is behind this company.
Today, Robert and I would like to kick off the presentation by sharing a new lens on our purpose as a company. We think that business is all about relationships. We want to live in a world in which people can build deeper relationships with the people they work or do business with.
It makes sense for us because it's what we try and do internally. Do we succeed at it all the time? No, we don't succeed at it. Do I know every single person's name in this company? I shouldn't say this on camera, but no, I don't, because we're a big company now and there's new people coming in every week, and I wish I did. I wish I had more space and time to make sure I'm finding out people's names and understanding more about them. So is it something we can ever perfect? Definitely not. Definitely not. Are we going to know everyone that we interact with? No. But can we build things and encourage people to do things that gets them closer to that? Yeah, I think we can.